Welcome to another Iron Wheel video. Today's video will entail my first episode of Entitled Parents. This story is called Ian Ruined My Birthday Pie Because EK Wanted to Dance. So here's the backstory. This happened 5 years ago on my 10th birthday pie. We decided to hold it in Leo's Lakeland, an awesome place to hold birthday parties in Oslo, Norway. So basically there are multiple rooms, dino room, pirate room, disco room and etc. Outside of the rooms was a huge play area where the most fun was. With that knowledge, we rented the cheapest one, which was the disco room. In a nutshell, there was a big ass speaker, a dining table for cake, pictures, along with a dance floor. We weren't planning to play music, however. So my classmates arrived. We were in the 5th grade, I think. After an hour of playing, I sat down at a nearby seat to take a moment to breathe. Here comes EM, entitled Mum, and EK, entitled Kid, and me, Batman. So I am just resting, and a woman sits a few seats in front of me, looking like she just ran 10k. She's basically dealing with 15 grade schoolers. She looks at me for a second and notices the badge that they gave for birthday kids, which has our name on it. And she goes, "Ah, you're the one who went to the disco." Like she just went through a revelation. By the way, the rooms also have a whiteboard with the invite list and the names and the age of the birthday kid near the entrance. I said, "Yeah? Why are you so shocked?" "My daughter was waiting all year to dance with her friends on her birthday, but we didn't have enough time to rent it." And that's a lie. We rented it a week before. She could have rented it for her birthday months in advance. I nod awkwardly and run off and play some more. After 45 minutes, it was time to cut the cake. We sing some songs, blah blah blah. And while we are eating, a blonde girl walks in, really annoyed, and didn't say anything. My parents thought one of my friends had upset her, and she was here to tell on them. While that we are asking her what's wrong, she cuts them off and says, "I'll be leaving soon, I want to dance." At this point, we had an additional hour to play after we eat. We laughed and said no, after all hell would break loose. She runs off sobbing and then returns with the bleep I met earlier. The policy in the building is that if a family leaves early, kids can play inside the celebration rooms until the original time runs out. She comes in, pushes me aside quite harshly and yells at my parents, "Can't you degenerates off?" My mum, shocked, and my dad, pissed. They told her to leave so the kids wouldn't get upset. Moments pass by, and while they are arguing and me starting to cry, EK runs past her mum, pulls the cheap cloth off the table and brings everything, including food, presents, phones and some stuff, crashing down. During the aftermath, they leave and I'm left crying. Not much of the presents were damaged, but the PlayStation Portable my cousin got me had a crack in the screen. Everyone leaves early with their kids, and we are left to clean the mess. However, we talked to the manager, Karen style, and managed to get the name and number of EM 3 days later, and we pressed charges for harassment and destruction of property. 1 month later, we win the lawsuit, get the money she owed us, and more. My parents buys me a new iPad instead. Joke's on you, bleep. I guess you just got me a free iPad. Wow, it shows that these entitled parents will go to no length to ruin someone's birthday party. The only thing I'm a little bit concerned about is how he said originally to this entitled parent, "Yeah, why are you so shocked?" Personally, I wouldn't ever say that to someone who's like an adult. I would just go okay and short answers and just moved on because they would be a stranger to me. But it's just surprising how someone can literally try to destroy the end of someone else's birthday just because they didn't think about booking the room, or maybe they were trying to mooch onto the room and had no intention of actually paying for the room. Ah, God. Now for the next post. My dog needed to be put down so her kid could trespass freely. This is something which happened quite a few years back, but I remember it well as it became one of those family stories you tell for a laugh. I was 20, living with my mum in the Dominican Republic while I finished college. At the time I had a little long-haired chihuahua called Porky. He was the sweetest dog in the world, and the neighborhood kids generally loved him because he always was up for playing. At the time we were living in a nice neighborhood and the house had a large backyard. Instead of a fence, the backyard had a 7-foot wall surrounding it, and there was a large huge cashew tree to the wall. This is important to the story. Now if some of you have ever seen this fruit, please Google Malayan apples or cashew fruit. When the trees bear fruit, they don't hold back. They grow heavy with fruit, and Mum would usually give the fruit away to the neighborhood kids. The characters in the story are EM, entitled mum, M, my mum, EK, little crotch stain, J for judge. Like I said, my mum generally gave the fruit away to the kids, or let them come and pick it themselves, but as always there was always one little brat. Enter the kid across from the street, EK. He got into his head that he didn't want to knock on the door and ask for the fruit. He would instead climb the 7-foot wall and take the fruit from the tree. This would make Porky go crazy, thinking that there was an intruder in his yard, and Mum would run outside to get the kid down. Now, my mum knew the family was a bunch of idiots and didn't want trouble. 4 times she spoke to the boy, telling him, "Please, just come to the door, you're scaring the dog, I will give you all the fruit you want if you ask." M. Your son keeps trespassing into my yard and climbing a tall wall without supervision. He's making the dog very upset. He can have the fruit, but he needs to ask. EM. I can't control everything he does all day. He can go wherever he wants. Chain the dog if he's being difficult. M. Well no, that's called trespassing. I won't chain my dog in my own yard so your kid can break the law. And if he has a bad fall or if the dog bites him, I'm not responsible. EM slams the door on my mum's face. 2 days later it happened. My mum was in her room, she hears a crash, barking and crying. EK has slipped off the wall, landed on the dog's house and completely destroyed it, and the nervous little child bit him. Mum makes sure that the bite hasn't drawn blood and that EK hasn't hit his head and sends him home thinking he has learnt his lesson. A week later, I get the mail. EM was suing us for medical expenses and wanted my dog put down. I lost my shit, I wanted to go there and beat EM for wanting to hurt my dog. But my usually fiery mum made me calm down. We'd go to court. On the court day I was very worried. I wasn't sure what Dominican law was on the matter, but I knew that in some countries any dog that bites is automatically put down. Enter EM and the judge. She was suing us for the equivalent of $4,000 US. In the DR, that's a ridiculous amount of money for EK's medical expenses due to the bite, and she was demanding that the dog be destroyed. Judge asked my mum to tell her version of the events and asked EM if that was all true. EM, yes, what she says is true. J, so you're telling me that your kid trespassed at home illegally to steal something he could get for free in the first place, destroyed property while stealing, and got bitten by a scared chihuahua as a result? EM, well yes, but my boy should be able to go wherever he likes. It's his right. The dog needs to be put down so he can move freely. J, no, your kid is not entitled to go wherever he wants in other people's property. Sorry for the wake-up call. Do you let strangers wander into your home wherever they like? Do you have any photos of the child's wound? EM, no, he didn't break any skin. J, then how do you explain your supposed medical bills for the bite? To my mum, can I see this dog? Mum shows the judge a photo of the dog. The judge rolls his eyes. J to EM, do you understand that if your child would have trespassed in a home with a large breed dog, he'd be dead? J to my mum, ma'am, you're free to go. If you decide to countersue for destruction of property and trespassing, feel free to do so. You have a good case. M, thank you, but I just want to go home, and the assurance that they won't bother us again. EK did not trespass again. EM did end up having to pay my mum's legal fees though. I just don't understand how people can think that their children are so entitled to do whatever they want. I mean, if everybody had this entitlement, nothing would get done in the world, I swear. But it's great how the judge saw how stupid this case was and didn't needlessly put down an animal which, let's face it, had done nothing wrong. And the Chihuahua is so small, I can't even believe someone would actually bring a case against a Chihuahua. Just can't believe it. God, these Karens nowadays, too many. Our next story is called Stories from an Animal Shelter. I volunteered at an animal shelter for a few months and had my fair share of run-ins with EPs there. I have several stories, all happened a few years ago. Our shelter had room for 40 cats, 15 dogs, 10 rabbits / guinea pigs, 1 to 2 birds. To keep things easy, everyone will be referred as entitled, even if some of them, like the kids, weren't. Co-worker equals CO. Story 1. The dog was hostile towards the baby but freaking loves kids. An EM, an ED and a Labrador walk in. I'm cleaning the entire hallway plus waiting area plus cat's room, so plenty of time to eavesdrop. CO. How can I help you? EM. We want to put our dog up for adoption. CO. Okay, what is the reason? EM. We're having a baby and we're worried that the dog might attack him. CO. Yeah. We read in the newspaper about the dog attacking the baby in its cot and we don't want to happen to our baby. CO. Are you aware such cases are very rare? Chances of a properly trained dog suddenly attacking a baby are EM. No, my precious darling won't be endangered. The dog could get a new home. I don't want a murderer in my house. CO was stunned that someone would call their own innocent dog a murderer. EM. We'd rather have a cat like that one. Points to a half-feral cat in the cat room across from the desk are much safer. So cuddly and soft. CO. Cats do have sharp claws and won't hesitate to defend themselves, unlike a dog which sees its owner as a god. Manager walks in after overhearing part of the conversation. Manager. CO. We'll take this dog, but don't let them adopt anything. Manager. If they're dumping a 3-year-old dog because of a newspaper article and don't even refer to him by his name, you can bet your ass that they will ditch the pet as soon as something happens. Also, have you ever seen what happens when parents let their baby ride a cat? I have, and it's not pretty. It can damage their backs forever. It sounds like Leo wants their cat for the baby to play with, not to take care of and give it a loving home. A week later, the Labrador was adopted by a family with a small boy around 5, and they absolutely loved each other. The dog trainer, also a volunteer at the shelter, saw that the dog had no signs of aggression and was free to go. The half-feral cat, they pointed out, was adopted after a few months, and thanks to the other cats was much nicer. Seriously, how can you be so entitled you think you can ruin an animal's life for the pleasure of your kid? For the love of God, don't let your children ride the cat, or dog for that matter. Well, it's always good to see a happy ending to one of these stories. I mean, I'm very happy that they didn't let the entitled parents get a cat for their child, because you can guarantee that cat will be buying for everything. It's like, the cat is not very friendly when the kid drags on his fur and, kicks the cat or something. You can just see that the cat's just going to be dumped at the end of the street or something. And I'm extremely happy about the Labrador finding a nice home and probably now going to be that kid's best friend for the rest of its days. So that is absolutely wonderful. That's all, folks, and I would be eternally grateful if you would subscribe, as that does help me out, and I am aiming to bring out a few more videos in the next couple of weeks, so subscribe and see what those ones are like. Ciao.